Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Large crowds at Sunset Cliffs prompted a city council member to call for its closure to help battle the spread of coronavirus. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt. And 10 News reporter Anthony Perez spoke with neighbors who are worried for their safety.
Crowds started flocking to Sunset Cliffs almost as soon as it reopened. There's been several complaints from people living in the neighborhood, many of them telling us it makes them feel uncomfortable. Sunset Cliffs has always drawn in sightseers, those wanting to soak in the vast Pacific for an iconic picture or perfect moment. But since Sunset Cliffs reopened in late April, the sights have turned unsightly, with crowds packing in, ignoring public health orders.
I work in healthcare, and I would appreciate if people wore masks when they're out.
But that hasn't been the case. The crowds making it tough for dog walkers.
I've gone earlier now because when it gets towards sunset, it's really bad.
Neighbors tell us people start packing the cliffs at night, many wanting to catch a glimpse of the light show put on by Mother Nature. Bioluminescent waves shimmering in the ocean. Police are out at night and parking lots are closed, but the crowds and social distancing violations continue. The problem has led to City Council member Jennifer Campbell issuing a statement Friday saying the situation needs to be reassessed and calling for the closure of Sunset Cliffs. Some don't want to see that.
I wouldn't want to not allow somebody to have access to our oceans.
Others feel it might be the only way.
I hate it, but I also think it might be important. I feel like everyone should be smart enough to keep their distance, but it seems like maybe some people aren't, so they're ruining it.
10 News asked the mayor if closing Sunset Cliffs was being considered. He says they are aware of the problems, adding they've seen improvement as the bioluminescent waves begin to diminish.
We have seen a lot more compliance, but it hasn't been enough. We've sent extra officers there at night. I think the message is getting out.
Anthony Perez, 10 News.
The world lost one of the greats of magic and entertainment. Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy has died from COVID-19. A statement released by Siegfried confirms his passing a week after testing positive for the virus. The two were a staple in Las Vegas for 4 decades. It ended in 2003 after Roy was mauled by a white tiger on stage, severing his spine. Siegfried said he lost his best friend. Horn was 75. Retail stores across the county began reopening today for the first time since the state's stay-at-home order went into effect. As 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala tells us, this will be a test as retailers try to rebound and bring their customers back.
I've had zero income since March 15th.
For small business owner Tracy Fulop, Friday was supposed to be the day things started getting back to normal.
It is very confusing, and I think they're mixed signals.
She owns a vintage and makers business called Ivy and Squid. It's located inside of 2 group shops, one in Oceanside, the other in Ocean Beach.
Both establishments I'm in have done everything that the state has required.
She thought she would be able to fully reopen, but quickly realized only curbside pickup and deliveries are allowed. So she's changing up the way she does business.
I've been putting stuff on my Instagram, and we'll start doing more so, saying, this is how much it is, and you can call the store to purchase them.
But she says pictures and curbside pickup only go so far, and it's not the greatest way to sell antiques.
People want to be able to go and pick up a vase and look at the bottom of it, or pick up a piece of jewelry and try it on.
Low-risk businesses like flower shops are also allowed to reopen for pickup and delivery. And for some, things are going pretty smoothly so far.
For our type of shop, it's really what we're about. We are a curbside pickup shop.
Hillary Bateman was anxiously waiting to reopen her little house of flowers in time for Mother's Day. Friday, she was back in business with the proper required safety measures in place.
Everybody has come by and, been very respectful of what's going on.
For Fulop, she's rooting for all small business owners, willing to try new ideas and preparing for the day to officially welcome customers back inside.
I'm super optimistic, though, that things are going to turn around.
Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
We're not expecting any word on the opening of other businesses until next week. In a rare statement directed at Sacramento, San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer made a direct statement to Governor Gavin Newsom, calling on him to ease the requirements on reopening more of our economy. One of those is a requirement that counties need to see no COVID-related deaths for 14 days before moving forward. That's something Faulconer says would be impossible to meet.
So I urge our governor to revisit and reconsider these current requirements, because under them, San Diego cannot take the next step in a safe reopening that all of us have been working so very, very hard.
And Governor Newsom's administration warned this week the counties which defy his orders are in jeopardy of losing disaster money from the state. Protesters gathered in downtown San Diego to demand businesses and outdoor areas open up more quickly. Dozens showed up for the Freedom Rally this afternoon. Some of the demonstrators appeared to ignore social distancing and face covering requirements. One man told us it's time San Diegans got their freedom back to go outside.
I'm concerned about the virus. I'm concerned about life. I'm concerned about the flu. Doesn't mean that I lock myself up in a cave and I hide 6 months out of the year. I go live my life.
The San Diego Police Department didn't write any tickets today.
For people of faith that believe in God, this is an essential service for them.
Well, 2 local religious leaders filed a lawsuit against Governor Newsom and county officials. They're asking for places of worship be allowed to reopen during the COVID-19 pandemic with restrictions. As our 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us, both leaders say religion is essential.
The attorney for both the rabbi and the pastor tells me both places of worship are ready to reopen following all social distancing guidelines currently in place.
Both the Chabad of Carmel Valley and the South Bay Pentecostal Church have been shut down for weeks amid the COVID-19 pandemic and Governor Newsom's stay-at-home order.
The various churches have cooperated, even though they have a First Amendment constitutional right to free exercise of religion.
The governor's order forced all non-essential businesses to shut down. Places of worship were on that list, reopening not scheduled until phase 3 of the governor's plan.
The churches should be just as open as other large businesses.
Attorney Charles Lamandry is representing Rabbi Mendel Polachenko and Bishop Art Hodges, both asking for a court order allowing their houses of worship to open by next weekend.
The churches can safely and responsibly resume business so long as they follow the same social protocols as everyone else.
Arguing that churches are essential.
For people of faith that believe in God, this is an essential service for them.
Lamandry says the churches would open following all social distance regulations, including masks and staying 6 feet apart.
But of course, people are sick, they don't come. If people aren't comfortable, they shouldn't come. But for those who are willing to act responsibly, and they all are.
Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
The governor said yesterday his administration is already working with faith leaders on guidelines for physical distancing. The churches hope to have accommodations before phase 3. And many were frustrated waiting outside the reopened DMV in Hillcrest.
You can renew it online.
You cannot renew it online. Trust me, I tried. They told me I had to come inside.
The Normal Street location reopened today with limited service. The DMV says it's only taking customers with appointments or those who need specific in-person services. And that includes commercial licenses or getting a handicap placard. One mother brought her son to get his learner's permit, which is not one of the limited services offered.
I would think that they would have done this online because it's just the writing one. Just came down here, like I said, got in.
The DMV recommends checking its website for more information on the services offered. Here's a look at the latest coronavirus numbers in the county. 233 new cases were reported today, bringing our total to 4,662. That's the highest single-day increase so far. The county also announced 4 more deaths, bringing that total to 169. Palomar College says the majority of their fall classes will be online due to the ongoing concerns from COVID-19. In the fall of 2020, all lectures will be conducted online. Some labs will be offered online. Others will require the students to go to campus. Registration for fall classes begins June 4th. We have a 10 News follow-up now to a story of a deadly stabbing in Lakeside. The Sheriff's Department says it arrested 23-year-old Julia Gonzalez for the crime. And the department says just after midnight, a fight broke out between neighbors on Gema Way. And when deputies arrived, they found an injured man. He was taken to the hospital, but later died. And another disturbing incident at a Santee grocery store. Someone called the Sheriff's Department yesterday to report a man wearing a mask with a swastika at the Food for Less on Cuyamaca Street. When deputies arrived, they asked the man to take off the mask, which he did. He wasn't arrested. Last Saturday, a man was spotted wearing a KKK-style hood at a Santee Vons.